What's up, everybody? Just as the sun has risen, so should your mind and your heart. Above all things, have courage. Courage is needed in times such as this. We're here on day number 22 in our journey together with vulnerability, and it's definitely been an amazing journey this far, right? During this journey, we've explored so many different topics, and these topics have enlightened us and given us a sense of a lens, if you will. We've put on different lenses as we view vulnerability, and the beauty of vulnerability that I'm really starting to discover is that it's not one-dimensional at all. It's very multi-dimensional, right? And the reason I say that is because it depends on the perception in which you're viewing this thing. So today, the conversation we're going to have today is centered around focus, and it's through the lens of focus and what is focus and how does focus impact your life. And I'm excited to have this conversation with you because I spent a lot of time with this particular topic, and I can't wait to share. Right. So before we share, let me spark up my cigar that I got that I'm going to be blessing tonight. All right. So focus. What is focus? Why is focus important? How can focus impact your life? What are you focused on? See, in life, we hear so many different words. We hear terms. But if we lack the knowledge on what they mean, then we can misappropriate it or maybe not fully understand what's happening. So we're gonna utilize a working definition for this word focus, and this word focus means the center of your interest. The center of your interest. And it's important for you all to understand, what are you centering your interest around? And again, as we continue to dive deeper into this focus and what it is, we need to unlock these different words and understand these different words. And that word interest means the want to learn or the act of learning. The want to learn or the act of learning. So if I'm focused on creating content, delivering a message, then that's where my interest is going to land. And if I have interest in creating content, delivering a message, then my senses, my being, myself, I'm going to start to gather information, right? So as that information is coming to me, attracted to me, coming to this law of attraction, it's up to me to be aware of what the information is. The next step, of course, is to know that I am now attracting things. Attract means to absorb, to take in, to call to, right? After we now attract information our way, attract people, attract attitudes, attract words, attract things we see. Because remember, these things come through our portals, our eyes, our nose, our mouth, and our ears, our senses, our feelings. The next thing is the interaction. It's important to understand that these things happen in sequence, just like a program or a system, right? Everything happens in sequence. And the interaction means to relate to or to connect with. What are you connected to? What are you connected to? So you may be asking, maybe wondering, how does vulnerability relate to all of this? That's a good question. I spent some time self-discovering that question. Based off that information, based off that question, what I discovered is this: that at every step of the way, vulnerability is the accessible path to awareness. Whether you are aware or not aware, there's an accessible path, right? So the first step is focus. What are you centering your interest in? Right? Because whatever you're interested in, whether you know it or don't know it, you're drawing something to you. You're unlocking or activating, if you will, all your senses and all your portals. And these portals are going out to seek information because it's about learning, right? That's what interest is the want to learn, or the act of learning. So it's seeking the information, it's delivering it to you. And once it comes in your space, whether or not you're aware or not, again, the seeking is the vulnerable places, the exposed places, seeking information, and it's coming back in, right? Upload, download, access points. These are vulnerable places, and it takes courage to be present. You need to be present. You need to first ask yourself, what am I focused on? You need to also ask yourself, what should I be focused on? You should also spend time just right there alone. Before you even go into the application of focus, you need to ask yourself, what am I currently focused on, and what do I need to focus on? These things should be based on your personal vision for your life. You should create a personal vision for your life. My vision for my life is to create clarity, so therefore I have full awareness of self-love, self-growth, self-development, and and also being able to distribute love, growth, and development to other people. That's my vision. So because that's my vision, I have to know what I'm focused on every day. Every day. When I wake up, it's an opportunity to focus on something. When I take a shower, it's an opportunity to focus on something. When I get ready for work, it's an opportunity for me to focus on something. When I work, it's an opportunity for me to focus on something. When I'm out of work, it's an opportunity for me to focus on something. When I'm interacting with people, it's an opportunity for me to focus on something. Whatever I'm doing is an opportunity for me to focus on something. And I am actually, whether I know it or not, I am focusing on something. So why not participate in that act? That's responsibility. Right? No different if you have a business. A business will create a vision. All businesses have vision statements. And then after the vision statements, the business will then create core values, principles, things like that. But those are their focus points. Focus points. Focus points. They'll create goals. Focus. They'll create expectations. Focus. That's their interest, right? So the next thing is, since these are your focus points, now you're going to be attracting information, and this information should be assessed. Whether or not these people, whether or not these behaviors, whether or not these attitudes, whether or not these transactions are a representation of the vision, you have to make that proper assessment or not, because you're going to be getting information. People are going to communicate, customers, right? Employees. This is information. Now you've unlocked the accessible points, the vulnerable points, right? And based off the information received, then you can make a proper determination. Do you want to interact with it or not? Is it worth the investment? Different than your personal life, right? It's important to know what you're focusing on, because whatever you're focused on, you'll attract. So if you're stressed out, what's your focus? If you feel unhealthy, what's your focus? If your focus is to be a better person, then you're going to attract things your way. You may not have developed the habit or the discipline to be aware of what you're attracting, but you can develop that habit, that discipline. For sure, hands down, you can. You can also develop that habit and the discipline on how you interact with the information that's coming your way too. And the more that you spend time in each step of that process, the better you will become, right? There's a lot of people right now, including myself. I'm not by any chance, by any far stretch, am I trying to say I'm perfect, because I'm not. But there's a lot of people right now utilizing old operating systems, which is the mind, right? Or the soul. Utilizing old operating, well, the mind, we use the mind for example, utilizing old operating systems with new devices. I have an iPhone. iPhone's a beautiful device, right? Beautiful device. But iPhone comes out with different updates to the operating system in order to help it improve the performance. And if I fail to update my device, depending on what the update is for, right? Depending on what category it's for, if I fail to update it, then if I try to apply or download an app, it's not gonna work properly. See, you're trying to become a better person, become a better listener, but you have an old operating system that you have, and you're not even aware of it. You need to be aware of your operating system, your mind. You can't bring an old mind into a new device. You can't do that. You can do that, but you're gonna get frustrated because certain things aren't gonna work properly. You can't bring an old mind in a new relationship. Oh, you can, but you may get frustrated because things aren't gonna work properly. It's important to understand your operating system, and it's important when the universe or when people or when life gives you the opportunity to download something that's gonna impact you in a positive way, right? An investment in you that is going to reap growth, profit, then download it. But also, too, you need to be cautious. Don't download everything. There's some things you can download on your phone that can give it a virus, infection, disease, because you're accepting it. Do you read the fine print? You're vulnerable, but you weren't aware, or you weren't responsible. In your vulnerable places, be responsible. And make a habit of it, because there's going to be times where we're human, we're imperfect, right? We're going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. But the beauty in that is this: as long as you're assessing what you're doing and you're actively participating, you're consciously participating, you're mentally participating, you're emotionally participating, you're assessing, then you know if it doesn't work, no different than business. If something doesn't work, what does a business do? Do they break down and they quit? Some businesses do. There are other businesses, there are other people, there are other situations where you assess the behavior, you make the necessary change, you create a plan, you work the plan, and see what profits come from there. See what growth comes from there. Assess it. That means you give up. Nah, that doesn't mean you give up. You've been trying to become a better man, woman. You've been trying to become a better employee. You've been trying to become a better person, but you're so ready to give up because you're frustrated because something's not working out. It's true, frustration will happen, but don't give up. Take a deep breath, assess what you're focused on. What is my focus? What is my interest? Based off your vision, right? Create a brand for yourself. My brand is clarity. That's my personal brand, clarity. Create clarity. So what are you focused on? Because whatever you're focused on is what you're interested in. Whatever you're interested in is opening up your portals to attract information, because it's the want to learn. Our bodies, not our physical bodies, but our being is so transcendent that when we want something, it will emit it. I want a new car. Oh, information's gonna come your way. Boom. Just like our device. We say something, boom, it puts it right in front of us. It puts it right in front of us, right? And it even creates a whole different dialogue. Like, technology is no different than us. It's an emulation of who we are. Who we are is an emulation of what we're created to be. What we're created to be is an emulation of creation. Everything has similar processes. You just got to pay attention to it. Now, you know right now, phones, when you talk, when you're texting somebody, when you give information, you may go to Facebook or a different thing and an ad will pop up. Boop. Why? Because it's taking the information in, collecting all the data, right? And then based off the collection of the data, it's going to try to propose you something. It's going to give you something in order for you to click and accept it, download it. Some people got smart. They've gotten behind the download game and they're profiting, right? They're profiting. You gotta understand, like, this whole thing is an interesting cycle, right? So, like, give me a second. I have this that I wanted to share with you all. So, look right here. Focus, right? Focus. A target or bullseye. You guys are familiar with the bullseye, right? Pull target, shoot the bullseye. But the thing about it is this. This bullseye is eerily similar to an eye. Eerily similar to an eye, right? Very similar to an eye. As a matter of fact, let's take it a step further. All right. That's an eye. Focus. Center of your interest, your eye, the portal. You see. Right? Focus, the center of your interest. Interest, the want to learn. It's collecting information, what you see. It's information coming in and out. You need to stand guard in front of your portals. What are you watching? What are you looking at? What are you interested in? Is it there to help you grow? Is it developing you? Is it attached to your vision, your why? Because it will attract to call. It'll call information. Just like Google, you type in something to Google, Google's gonna go search the internet and bring it back to you. And then, once you attract it, next step is the interaction. And oftentimes what people end up finding out is you're going through a vicious cycle in your life. You're wondering why it's the same thing happened to you over and over again. You're in a different relationship, but the same behaviors. You're different with the same results, right? You're wondering why you're always getting cheated on, or you're always frustrated at somebody. You're always arguing. You're always insecure. You're always self-doubt. And these are the things that I've dealt with, right? And just in my own personal life. And this has nothing to do with anybody else. It's just me. I had to pause and take personal accountability. And that accountability started with, what am I focused on? If I continue to focus on my past traumas, if I continue to focus on my insecurities, that is my interest, whether I know it or not, because I'm focused on it. I'm interested in it. It doesn't have nothing to do with feeling good about anything. Interest means literally you're calling things to you. You're attracting things to you. That's why that word focus is very synonymous to paying attention. You're paying attention. Your attention. You're giving. Paying. Right? Ooh. Woo. Something didn't like that. Right? You're giving. You're paying attention. You're paying attention. Who are you paying attention to? Is it worth the investment? Are you paying attention to that thought that you should have let go? Are you giving so much attention to that thought? You're paying it. Because eventually, whatever you pay or whatever you invest in, you'll either gain or lose. I know you're tired of losing. I know you love winning. I know you love gaining. Something you're doing is happening and is right. Pay attention to your process. What are you focused on? Determination. One of the things I enjoy about Michael Jordan, some of you guys probably watched The Last Dance, is that he was so focused on winning. He's very competitive. He's focused on competition and winning. And every stage of his life, he had similar results. He was focused. His interest drew information, so he was able to assess the way people play in order for him to gain momentum. He watched how they guarded, how they played. He was able to see things that other people weren't paying attention to. Phil Jackson once said that the reason why Michael Jordan was so great is because he knew what would happen 3 plays before the play even happened. 3 movements before the play even happened, right? He knew that he would get the ball. He knew the defender would try to make him go to his left. And then when he made him go to his left, he can visualize and see that he'll have a space open and somebody else will come and he can take another step to sidestep them and maybe go up and then go over. He knew that before the play even started. He was so focused on visualization and winning and achieving his goal. So opportunities came. He was aware of the opportunity, that attraction. And then he interacted and he developed a pattern, right? So I hope you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. I really do. I really do. It's something that has tremendously helped me out quite a bit. I've seen it in so many different aspects. You've seen it. If you're paying attention, you've seen it, right? Think about it. Think about it. Even in religion, right? So I grew up non-denominational Christian Baptist under the Christianity umbrella, religion practice, right? And one of the Bible verses in John 3:16, which is like the Mecca of all Bible verses for all Christians, is that if you confess with your mouth and you believe in your heart in Jesus Christ, you'll be saved. And even in that, this can be plugged right into that, right? So when you think of confessing, the only reason why somebody would confess if there was something to confess, right? If there was an issue or a need, you would confess it. So you have to focus on a need, focus on something, a shortcoming, focus on a need to be saved, right? And then once you focus on the need to get help and to be saved, then all your senses are activated to search for information or to search for saving. You're going to hear, right? And the next step is to believe. Belief is to accept and to make part. To accept and to make part. So that is the latter steps, right? You focus the need to be saved. You're confessing. Confession only comes because you focus on something. So now you're acting in it. You're confessing. And now you're believing. You're putting in your heart what you attracted. The information that you got, you're placing in your heart. And now you're interacting with it. And that's that relationship with Jesus, which is in your heart. So all these different components are used in so many elements in life, right? I just hope, I don't hope. My interest right now is that you will grow. You will love yourself. You'll be aware of those vulnerable places in your life, those vulnerable places within yourself, your portals, right? Your nose, your mouth, your eyes, your ears, your senses are all vulnerable, and you'll be present. Not only will you be present, you'll learn more. You'll attract more information so that you can make better assessments and better judgments. And based off the assessment and judgments, you'll apply behaviors that are effective, that are helping you grow. And then those behaviors, if you repeat it, will become habits. Those habits will then turn into your character, and therefore, and so on. So, day number 22 is out the window. Tomorrow is 23. That's one of my favorite numbers, 23. And I can't wait to see what's in store for tomorrow. Create clarity in all that you do. Stay blessed. Know that you're blessed. Center your interest in knowing that you're blessed. Tell yourself. And focus on knowing you're blessed. Just focus on it. Don't leave this message without the thought of knowing you are blessed. Because as soon as you focus your interest on that, knowing you're blessed, then the universe and your senses will go search for the information. The universe will show you it. You'll become either aware or be brought to you that you're blessed. And as soon as you're aware, right, you can be aware by your family. You can be aware by how people talk to you, spend time with you. Then interact with that. Establish behaviors that will be an outward demonstration of you being blessed. And then create that habit. That's creating clarity. I love you guys. And I am so grateful to be spending the time connecting with myself as well as with you and with everybody else that I love. Stay blessed.